Okay, everyone, welcome to the Soul Hour. So I have the beautiful and talented Selina McManus, and she is a business owner here in the heart of Oakland, Fruitvale District to be exact, and she has her salon, Native Studio Salon, and it's been a long time coming, and I love her story, her journey thus far, and we met probably 3 years ago, maybe, when she was in Hayward, but her journey began way before that. And so I just want to give her the opportunity to go ahead and introduce herself and explain further about her hair artistry journey.
If you hear a dog barking, it's my niece. She's on dog patrol today at the salon. My name's Selina McManus. I am a mother of two, a salon owner now, and I've been doing hair for 12 years, so it's been a very long journey. I'm indigenous. My grandmother moved here in 1959 from our small reservation to attend an Indian relocation program that she did through the YMCA in downtown Oakland, and it happened to be cosmetology, and that's literally how my whole family's here, so it's pretty dope. And I'm very proud of my family. I'm very proud of my grandma. I didn't wear no makeup today, so I have these glasses on. I'm not too cool. I'm not a jerk. I'm just really tired, so.
Nah, I love those glasses, by the way. Yeah. So let's go ahead to go back to your hair artistry journey. So you started 12 years ago, and then you just got your shop last year, right?
Yeah.
In the midst of the COVID pandemic and all of that, and so like everyone else, the struggle is real, but it's how you bounce back and how you pivot from what is going on around you. And so I think you did a really great job, and I admire that about you. But I also want, being that you're an entrepreneur and also a business owner, can you explain to people, some challenges that you may have come across, or also successes? I mean, everybody loves to hear the success too.
I'm just watching the dog. Harley, go sit down. Being loud, girl. For me personally, I'm not gonna dismiss the pandemic at all. It's, the virus is real. People are really affected by it. Businesses, lives were lost. A lot of people have really dealt with a lot of mental health issues, and I really honor that and, blame the government. So, but for me on a personal journey, the pandemic was pretty light. It was really hard having kids at home, homeschooling, trying to make ends meet while we were shut down for 10 months total.
Yeah.
But the journey that I personally have had, becoming a teen parent and trying to figure out and navigate my way through life without generational wealth or any idea of how to do this, it just snapped me back into survival mode, and you just kind of navigate there. And I think as a survivor and someone who's had to really be the rose through the concrete cracks, it's you just kind of snap back into that. And I'm really grateful for experiences that I've had in the past, being a really young mom and on welfare and food stamps and no money. It just kind of, I was able to tap back into that and figure it out. So the pandemic definitely was not easy, definitely was not a breeze, but it was something where you just kind of pick up and kind of go and run with it.
So basically though, since it's still pretty fresh for you, being a business owner. So I know as a woman entrepreneur, we're also held to a different standard too. But what are some things that you would share with women, especially younger generations that are looking to start their own business? What advice would you give them, or tips?
So for me personally, I've been doing hair for 12 years. I started out as an assistant at an all-white salon, and that was 2 months after I got my license. So it didn't work out. I don't know why. It didn't work out. So I left. I really got no experiences besides like the functionality of a salon, like
Yeah.
you know, day-to-day operations. I learned no skills there because they didn't want to share. That's fine, but then I, you know, became pregnant with my daughter very shortly after that. So I worked out of my mom's kitchen or on location at hotels, and I really had all these different experiences as a stylist. I've done commission, I've done booth rent, I've done, you know, before this full-size salon, I had a private studio. So one chair, one bowl, all my clients, boom. And it wasn't cheap. Those things are really expensive. That was in Fremont.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
yeah.
I met you in Hayward.
Yeah, so I had something before that I owned.
Got it.
So this is actually technically, I guess, my second time owning.
Yeah.
But I think people like really jump the gun with business ownership.
Mm-hmm.
That you can have a great idea, but the execution and the levels to it have to come.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying no one can be successful straight out of school, but it's like I built this clientele from the ground up. I was a stylist really before social media became popular, and then I really played off that and built and hashtag and tagging people, and you know, clients have found me through that. And I'm grateful for social media, but I'm also grateful that I still tap into reality and really want people to have a really great experience while they're here, while they're in my chair, because you know, even though I don't post on social media a ton, it's working for me, and my business is really busy. So if I can give women the advice, hire the help. It doesn't hurt. I have an assistant. I have a handyman that comes in here and like helps out. I have people that pick up, you know, plants, and everybody gets paid. And that's how you redistribute wealth and really put back into the community, by hiring local help and making sure we all eat.
And people who look like you.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. But I think, you know, doing the work and putting in the time and being consistent in the effort, because in social media, like you see a 1 minute hair transformation, that shit was like 8 hours. It was hella long. So it's not reality, it's not real. You should use it to your advantage to make money, but you have to be tapped into like the real hard work of it. I mean, today like is my day off, but I'm spending my time doing admin stuff, and I gotta curate classes and all these other avenues of you know, income, and it's not just black and white. There's tons of stuff to it. So there's no such thing as overnight success really, unless you're a rich kid with connections. But I mean, for the most part, it's hard work, and I don't want the younger generation to really lose sight of that in the focus. So
I agree, because I was thinking about that on the way here in regards to like, what's growth, or what does that mean? And you know, a lot of times, like you touched on like social media, and you touched on the resources, the lack of in our communities when it comes to being entrepreneurs or wanting to be your own boss. But people see only the successes on social media right now, and that's reality. But at the same time, like, where's the failures? Like, why don't we see the failures more online, or the struggles? And you know, that's what we also need to show and support too.
I think if I could add on to that, like me asking for help through the crowdfunding on GoFundMe, it wasn't like hard for me as like a pride thing. It's just like people assume because you're so busy and like you make good money, it's like, dude, I'm also living in the most expensive place in the world almost right now. So it's like me asking for that help to get jump started, like that GoFundMe was done in 3 days. You know, and I really just needed that for like deposit help. So that's another probably thing I would add to, is like, don't be afraid to ask your community for help. You know, and I know people trusted in the faith that like whatever they put in, I was gonna push back out tenfold, and I really stick to that. And like, this salon's a community space. Like, I have so much to give, so much to share, and we just needed the help to get started. So I was really proud of myself, especially as an Indigenous woman, because we do not like asking for help. We do not like asking for help, and it's like, I don't have rich parents. I don't have like, you know, you have this bread stack, but it's like that doesn't even exist. And we just survived a pandemic, and it's like inflation and costs are going up. So I'm really proud of myself for asking for that. I'm really, really grateful for the community for coming through, because we just made it happen. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too, because I was thinking about that as well, about how your community backed you.
Yeah.
And it segues perfectly into my next question, which is, what is the experience that you want the community or people who come here to your shop to experience?
Yeah. I've worked in non-Indigenous salons or non-POC salons, non-Black salons, you know, and
Not everything.
not everything. And I've been the only person of color in a salon before, and while, you know, I wasn't like, my safety wasn't compromised, it was just one of those things where I was so laser focused on what I was doing, like the outside didn't bother me, you know, but what bothered me was my clients walking in and being like, oh, you must be here to see Selina, because they had really fuller hair, like a lot of my clients were Polynesian or had texture, and I was just like, that shit, like, you can't fucking say that.
Yeah.
You can't say that to people. I don't want anybody to ever walk through this door and feel some type of way. Like, you know, stares or gestures or people touching. Like, I had stylists at that salon that I worked at, like, physically touch. Oh my God, look at this hair. Like, bitch, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So shit like that, like, I don't like stuff like that. I want everyone to come in and feel themselves. Like, we talk about everything here. We talk about politics. We talk about the fucked up shit that, you know, is going on in the world. And we talk about, you know, how to dismantle anti-Blackness, or, you know, how do we support Indigenous rights. We talk about sex. We talk about a ton of shit in here.
You talk about real shit.
Because that's what, you know, I want trans people to feel safe here, non-binary, you know, women, some men, because we don't allow abusers or rapists in here. So I stand by that, and I really hope the men that do walk through this door understand that that's something I don't play about ever, especially as a survivor of abuse. So try it, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just want people to feel really safe here, and if they have something to share and express, it's a dialogue, and it's, you know, I think what people get lost in the sauce is like, I touch you, I do the service, you pay me. It's much more than that for me. It's, you know, a transfer of energy, and I'm very concerned and caring about what goes on in my client's life, and they are for me too. So it's a mutual exchange, and I'm just not a fucking uppity salon. Like, I'm not.
No, I feel it.
I'm not.
I've been to a lot of different salons, and I don't know, like my best friend, how she recommended you to me to go to you, and it's just like, okay, she's like, yeah, I think she's definitely like your vibe, or like, I think
she's your type.
Yeah, basically, right? And so I'm like, okay, and then afterwards I understood what she meant, because it's about taking risks, or it's about being your authentic self, and it's about, you know, having those conversations in any capacity wherever you're at, and feeling safe and feeling welcome in whatever space you're in, because, you know, across the board in any service industry, I think that, like you said, the transfer of energy is real, and people can negatively impact you just within a minute, you know, like, and it could fuck up your whole day, or, you know, they could say something wrong and it may be internalized, and so, or it can be internalized. And so I believe that, I agree with that. It's definitely a vibe here, and you did a great job at that as well.
The other thing I could add on to that is, like, verbiage is really important. So if you have a client with like a shit ton of hair, they fucking know that. They don't need to, oh my God, you got so much hair, then don't do my hair. You know, and it's like, I don't like that, especially if I have like teenagers. I really speak very positive affirmation, like you have beautiful hair, like we're gonna learn how to do your hair, like you're old enough now, like pay, you know, kind of pay attention to what I'm saying and how to take care of your hair. You really have to speak very positive things into your clients. Like you shouldn't feel drained when you leave a salon.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope no one feels that way here unless they've had a couple of drinks, but that's it. That's it, because I just don't mess with that.
Yeah. Well, positive affirmations are great because you don't always say it to yourself.
Yeah.
And it's basically for the youth,
Yeah.
you know, when you do have those clients in your chair. I was talking about this a couple of days ago too, like it's a love language.
Yes.
Like that's something that needs to happen on a regular. So yeah, kudos to you for that. That's definitely needed.
And I'm not a hella positive person. Like my clients will be in here and they might hear me talk about want to slap somebody, but I mean I keep it real, but it's different when it comes to them, or you know, it's like
you are a positive person, but you're also a real person. So people
I'm a
you're
realist.
human.
I'm a realist. So I do think like while there's happy and joyful experiences, I honor anger and sadness. Like there's a duality in life and death. So
facts. I will segue into the next question. It basically is the same as one I already mentioned about being a business owner. We'll go back to that. Since you have started it, and how many months in now is it?
We've been operating here since November.
Okay, so a few months, a handful of months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still fresh on your mind. You're still going through the trials and tribulations. So people who are on the verge of starting their business on their own, what would you tell them?
Well, I manifested this whole spot.
Yeah,
so,
you did.
Yeah. I would talk to my clients about it and tell them like what the vision was.
Yeah.
And just verbally speak like it manifested itself.
Yeah.
So I created a mood board of like what I wanted it to kind of look like, and you know, what the feel was gonna be, how many chairs I wanted, all of these things. Like this has been a game plan for a while. I just continually, you know, kept working and mapped out how I was gonna execute it.
How long would you say?
Oh man, I didn't get really serious about it until the last salon I got kicked out of was it was going downhill there because I'm myself, you know. I am a professional. I call myself a fucking professional. So I don't let anybody take that away from me, because how are you? I'm booked out for months. Like how am I not a professional? Like whatever. But
I would say this. There's levels to professionalism, right?
It's rooted in colonialism.
Yeah. But at the same time, you're an artistic ass person. So for someone who is creative or artistic as you, don't play around with restrictions.
Yeah.
And so it's just like to be restricted in a space or to be confined, like of course it's not gonna there's gonna be some headbutting or stubbornness from outside chatter. So that's a must.
Stay out there. Don't bring that up in here.
Yeah.
So back to the planning.
I know.
No. We can keep going. I can talk shit. But I think back to the planning, like, so when I was chilling just as a booth renter, like a chair, I just rented a chair, I dwindled down to 4 days because the hustling I had to do during the lockdown was so draining. It was something I never imagined I'd have to do as someone who was already 10 years deep into the industry. I've already like when I was doing house calls, I was pregnant with my daughter, carrying a bucket. 2 people's houses that I didn't even know. Like I could have been hurt or you know what, but that's what I had to do. That's what I was doing. I was doing house calls. So
isn't it crazy to think though, like how old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
I was like 24.
So when you're experiencing that like then and you're thinking about it now, like you're like, damn girl, like
I would never walk into no one's house now that I don't know. And I was pregnant. Like somebody was watching over me. I mean, everybody I did, I was never like not safe, right? I would have got the hell out of there. But I had like my 4-year-old son with me.
Yeah.
My son's 15 now, my daughter's 10, and I just think like it's crazy to see people be like, oh, like I can't believe you own a salon now or this. No, like when you have a booth, you rent a booth, the only thing that the salon really provides is like towels, the space, shampoo.
Yeah.
That's it. So I was always in charge of my own inventory. I already had my own card processing system. I already had my own booking system. I already had, you know, like all of these systems in place. So it was really just about finding the space and writing a bigger check. That's it. That's it. So a lot of people are always shocked, and I'm like, I was ready to go though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm booked out consistently 2 months in advance. If I raise my prices, which is usually by 10% or so, depending on inflation and cost, or how long something takes, or how good I'm at it. But it's really just about, you know, you're gonna raise your prices 10%, you're gonna lose 10% of your clientele. So I'm opening my books again this March. Like you just play this, you know, it's essentially a game and planning. I don't dwindle down on my savings for shit. Like I take care of myself and my body to make sure I can work like this. But back to like me working 4 days, I don't do that anymore. Maybe here and there, but now that I have, you know, my overhead is higher, which is your expenses, I gotta work 5, sometimes 6.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to figure out a different way, like I'm about to start teaching again. And
it's about finding the
groove. But a lot of people want to go from like
0 to 100.
That's great. But it's also like I can't go from being a commission stylist to a full blown unless I have it figured out, right? So if you don't have like a booking system, card process, if you don't have all these little tiny things in place, opening a full scale salon where you're probably gonna have to support other people for a bit, is not ideal. And everyone just wants to rush these processes. No, just take it easy, build your clientele, build your skill. I can have 1 million clients, and if I do shitty work, they ain't gonna stay. Right? So I want people that are returning. I'm really grateful for I have clients that have been with me since I was doing the house calls. And they've stayed with me through every move, through every price, you know, raise, through every meltdown, you know, all my life, you know, no matter what, your life is gonna spill into here. I'm also not a person that believes like, oh, just leaving it at the door. Like I have children, I'm a mother. That's what I walk in as first, is a mother. So I again, just, you can't rush it. You can't.
Well, I honor your experience. That's for sure. No, seriously. I could ask the next question because, you know, your journey, I don't know if you ever reflect on this, but, you know, you inspire people, you know, in your lane of business that you do. So I think that talking about it is healthy. Talking about it is healing. And so that is what I admire about you, because you know, talk about your struggles and your successes all the time on social media and off, you know, in reality. So I honor you for that for sure. And I don't know if you have like a podcast or something that you read or a book that has inspired you, or kind of like a light bulb in your head, like, oh wow, like this is cool, or just, you know, mind shift.
So I'm very into decolonizing work, and like I practice a lot of spirituality stuff when I have time. In my spare time. So one of the podcasts I really like is called Know Thyself.
Know Thyself?
And it's 2 gentlemen who really teach you about esoteric knowledge and, you know, just back to basics. And when I feel really overstimulated by music or, you know, the world, I draw back and listen to them a lot. One of the books I'm reading right now is called From a Native Daughter by the late, great Professor Haunani K. Trask, and she talks about how, you know, Hawaii.
Where is she from? Hawaii?
She's from Hawaii.
Okay.
And
her name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's a very prominent activist. She just passed away last year.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, so she just breaks down like what really happened to Hawaii, and you know, I really like that because I'm working on reconnecting with my ancestors and my tribal work.
Yeah.
So I don't like read business books on my spare time. Maybe I should. I don't read about other artists. I want to read about basic knowledge and basic decolonizing work, because that's what keeps me grounded and really laser focused on why I do what I do, which is just decolonizing. Yeah, it is true. So I really like that podcast and that book right now. It takes me forever to read a fucking book, though. I'm not even gonna lie. It's so hard to focus, and
that's how I am.
Yeah, it takes me forever. So I might finish it next year, but I'm gonna finish it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to take your time though.
Yeah, so you can
because
absorb.
that's like it's dense when you are talking about real stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, for sure. So do you have anything going on as of lately or coming up that you want people to know about?
I'm working on a graphic right now because I'm about to have a class here. It's my first class. I was a educator for 6 years for a major hair brand, through a really big company, and I was really like supported by some and not by others, and I just kind of felt like I always had to swallow my flame a lot and just kind of dim it down. And I'm really excited for like non-branded education. I've taken a few classes by friends and colleagues, and it's just so much of a better experience. It's not branded. We're not pushing any products for sale. It's just like, here's knowledge. Here's how to better your craft and how to make more money and be really good at what you do. So I believe that education is the only way to really be a successful hairdresser. And I'll be teaching my first class here on March 28th from 10 to 1, and hoping to launch by tonight because I'm a little behind because my power was out today, but not because I didn't pay the bill. But yeah, so we'll have our first class here. It's called The Business of Blowouts, and it's just basically like how to do a really nice blowout for your clients, texture or not, and how to really showcase your work and photograph it, which is really important because we live in a digital age. So
okay. And people, she do. Let me rephrase.
We don't speak. Our people didn't speak English. Our people did not speak English.
So she does a lot of editorial work that is really beautiful. I love seeing her art just amplified. And I think also if you know anyone or want to network with Selina, definitely do that because you're always open to that, right?
Yeah.
If it's worth it, right?
Yeah. We gotta do the work. I think with editorial work right now, I'm still pretty new to it, but I think I've gained enough knowledge in it now to really like, it has to be very intentional.
Yeah.
So I want to create a storyboard about it, really tell a story. I think with Instagram, because everybody just wants content all the time, that it's just really like, oh, let's just shoot. And I'm down to shoot just to shoot if it's like with someone I know and trust, and like, the vibe is right, or like we're feeling both spontaneous and creative. But to ask somebody to work for free for a test shoot for like 12 hours, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially with the new business. So I'm very intentional about the work I do now, and recently just saw one of my creations with my best friend and our photographer Cola on 20th and Broadway yesterday. Yeah. Our concept for that was like New Age Black Panther Party. So we were paying homage to like the historical Black Panther Party from Oakland, and just to see it at the Black Joy Parade yesterday, like really warmed my heart. And my best friend is a Black woman, and she was my first friend, like born and raised in Oakland, so she taught me a lot, and she loves Oakland so much, to see her out there during the parade really meant a lot. And
that's special. That's a moment that you guys will never forget, for sure.
She's like 9 feet tall. It was really cool. I'm really happy for her. And there's nobody that deserves to be on Broadway like that. But
that's what's up. I know I'll have to drive by it. So it's there on a billboard?
It's on the side of the street.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look it up or see it in person, live in the flesh.
Yep.
But okay, how can people get a hold of you?
So I'm on Instagram at _beautynative. You can also find me on my website at www.beauty-native.com. I showcase a lot of my updated editorial work on there. You can read about me, and learn some about my family history. I'll have my class up there tonight. And yeah, it's just general website. And I'm on Twitter, but I talk a lot of shit on there, so I'm not gonna give it that one. I hope to start a podcast too, like Jill. She's doing great. I admire you for doing this. Thank you. Female, entrepreneurs of color are really important. So we're out here, we're doing it. I hope to start a podcast soon. I have the name of it already, so I can't wait.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to that, and thank you for also taking your time today. And you guys have a blessed and beautiful day. Peace.
And love.
Always.